This is Tony, 456 Chevy Trucks. Today we're looking at a 1966 Chevrolet C10 truck owned by my buddy, local fella, J.C. Fisher with the Texas Tenors. I brought this little truck in here for us to do, we're going to do a complete brake, new brake on it, new brake system on it, front disc, dual chamber master cylinder, power brake booster, new lines, wheel cylinders, pretty much all four corners. Obviously, this is a big back window truck, so we'll install the big back window in this truck, and then we'll dress out the interior, basically to get the truck back on the road so we can start enjoying it. So when the zombie apocalypse is behind us, we can all get back to our normal summertime activities.
Here we are. Got my 66 here. My nephew Jared and his buddy are just started today. What's today, man? May 4th. Jared started today. We're getting ready to start on the truck. We're getting ready to put the gas tank.
So what we're going to do is now is we're going to take the fuel tank out, put the isolation pads in, put our tank straps back in. We'll button all this up, and then that way we can install the seat. And we're going to put the back glass in.
Yeah. That's what the tank's supposed to look like back in the 66. All right, what we got here?
Well, just laying in the rubber.
A lot of times you're laying rubber on the ground, you're smoking them. You're laying rubber in the...
Or we're laying rubber in the hail.
Putting the rubber in for the big glass, big back glass. I like the big back glass. Let some light through. Lena would like it because she can see out better. Nice glass. What are you doing there, man?
Just putting the bead in. Putting the bead in this big back window gasket. Got my little beading tool. It's got a really funky shaped glass. All right, vacuumed out and blew out the carpet. Tapped out all the seat holes, the seat bolt holes. Got the seat back in place, the fuel tanks back in, plumbed and wired. Got the grounding strap in, the power lead to it, and we got the connection. So it should be able to run off the fuel tank. This is empty. We drained it out and flushed it, and it's empty. We'll put some fresh fuel in it. We got to snake in a dome light assembly, and we'll snake that in, run it down. It runs along the sill up and lands at the underdash fuse block. This is a factory seatbelt truck, so we got the factory seatbelt back in it. So we're going to go ahead and buy our anti-rattles, division bar run channels, and our window run channels so we can get the doors buttoned up. And this thing will, the interior of this thing will be shaping up pretty nicely, so stay tuned. Hey, we're back on the JC Fisher 66 C10. A fairly involved thing is door innards, door guts. It's pretty typical for the anti-rattles and the run channels to, over time, the weather just destroys them. So I don't like when somebody says piece of cake, because if it was a piece of cake, you'd already be doing it. But there's a methodical approach to this. So I'm going to try to hit some of the high points of doing the disassembly so that you can prep this door for putting all new weather strips in and soft goods, and then the assembly protocol to put it all back together and for it to function properly. First thing I do is I roll the window down, and I pull these out. And if you look right here, you see this little divot in the sheet metal, and that's there on purpose because if you turn this vent window assembly sideways, that'll allow that to snake out of there. So that's the purpose of that little divot. So now we got our vent window assembly out and free from the truck. The next thing I want to do is I want to roll this window up. And when you roll the window up, it'll allow it to come off the, we got some strip door handles here, which we'll have to address that. So what we're going to do here is you roll it up a little bit with the vent window assembly out. You can roll the window forward. It'll pull off the back roller here on the regulator. If you can see that, the regulator's got a roller on it, Teflon roller, and then it's got a little guide rail. So with the vent window assembly out, you simply pull that forward, rotate it, and as you rotate it, it'll come right out. I've seen people struggle with that and fight with that for hours trying to figure out how to get that in, get it out. But that's the way I found to be the easiest way to pull it out of there. So the vent window assembly and the glass, those are the two hardest things to get pulled out of the truck. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull out the window regulator. So this guy here is my helper today, JC Fisher, left one of the screws in. So, but I'm not going to hold that against him because he's a video guy, not a truck guy yet. So anyway, take all the screws out, and then you can roll that thing. There's also a corresponding channel. There's a corresponding run channel on the inside of the door right there. It's going to be difficult to get in the video, but that roller, if you slide the window regulator back, that roller will come out of that run channel. And this simply lifts out of the cavity. Next thing we'll do is the vertical run channels, or the door regulator. Take these two screws out for this vertical run channel in here. It'll clear enough space there where you can do that right there. Turn that 90. So that's keyed. That's keyed to fit that. So as I showed, just turn that 90 and it'll pop right off of there. Yeah. Okay, so that's your door regulator. And then the latch comes out, easy peasy. We actually send these out. We take the little. This one doesn't have it. It's missing the little. There's usually a little rubber piece on there. They don't sell that, but if you take a piece of rubber vacuum hose and cut a little piece of it, you put that on there. So that's just like basically a little rubber bump stop there. But we'll take these and send them. We'll put them in bins and we'll send them out to our plater, and he'll strip these and replate them in zinc. Now the key to that is to make sure it's a lot of times these springs right here will fail. So this one looks all to be in good order. Everything's working properly. So no issues. So this one would be a good candidate to, and our stars spinning freely. This would be a good candidate to send out to have plated. Now, we send stuff out to have plated, so we'll rotate this into the bins that need to be plated, and then we'll go in our inventory and we'll pick the best passenger side 64 to 66 door regulator out of our inventory that's already been replated, and we will incorporate that into the customer's truck. So that's, since we specialize in these trucks, that's typically how we do the process. So when we put them back together, the customer's getting a good replated original piece. They do sell these But since we have so many original ones, I find it more quality fit and finish is superior to the aftermarket stuff. So I'll always prefer to go that route if I can. My second choice is buy the aftermarket and make it work. But these, I know I don't have to modify them, adjust them, or change them in any way. Guaranteed quality fit and finish because they're original to the truck and they're 55 years old and they're still functioning properly. Next, we're going to pull out these anti-rattles right here. There's 4 clips in here, and they're friction clips. I like to use this little tool right here. I know there's other tools. This one's almost used up. You can see it's pretty haggard. But if you look behind here, you can see there's some little clips in there. So now we're not going to reuse these. That's something we're going to replace. So those basically just pop out. It's a friction clip. So stick it in there, get behind that, pop that guy out of there. We'll do that on both sides, get both of those out of there. And this process that we're going through right here is actually, essentially we'll reverse this process during assembly. So there is a methodical approach here, because after all, you are putting 14 pounds of stuff in a 7-pound bag, and in order to do that, it's got to be strategically done, or it won't all fit. So this video hopefully will prove beneficial to somebody going through the same process. So again, we're just popping that original anti-rattle out. These whiskers on it get worn down over the years, 1,000 million times, window up and down, they get rubbed. I will say the aftermarket, and I'll do a video on this, but the aftermarket replacement for these, that clip relative to this top leading edge there is not indexed properly. So one of the digs on these aftermarket ones is it sets these too low down into the window opening, and then when the window comes up, it actually bangs against that, so it'll keep the window from totally seating up here. So that is one of the things that needs to be improved with this aftermarket, and if I can ever get somebody's attention enough to get them to correct that, these will be very nice reproduction pieces, but the quality fit and finish of the aftermarket ones just aren't quite there yet. Okay, now we're gonna take out these run channels. Now sometimes these things are so hard that as you're pulling them out, they'll start to break up. We might get lucky on this, being able to pull it out in one piece. If not, we're not reusing it, so that's the whole idea of replacing it anyway. Always keep a nice big Rubbermaid trash can handy, because all this stuff's going directly to the. This is one thing we don't reuse, obviously. It's a wear part. It's got shelf life, so over time it's gonna degrade, become brittle. So previously we removed these 2 screws right here, and those secure the vertical run channel. So as you can see, that vertical run channel is still attached. So what I like to do is pull it back over here, and so I'm not fighting with it. Pull it back over here, and it'll come right out of that. They'll come right out of that opening. Wow. And then what we're doing, we'll peel this out. So as you can see there, that actually beads down into that. So that thing, when it's installed properly, will snap down into that channel.
Right.
So if you need something done on your 60 to 66 Chevy Gmc truck panel or Suburban, give us a shout out. 456ChevyTrucks.com.